This is Detective Smith. I'm sorry.
Hey, how you doing?
There's too many Smiths around.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. We're recording everything. That's standard. I'm reading your Garrity rights just to make sure that you're all covered. I don't know, like I said, if you explained, if you know what the Garrity rights are exactly.
Yeah, we had them when I was in the FOP when I was
perfect.
county.
So you know about Garrity rights
Yeah.
and everything, nothing can be used against you in a criminal proceeding and everything. You've been ordered to answer any questions that we ask. Alright?
That's fine.
There you go.
Let's see.
I gotta go over his statements again real quick.
Where you want me to sign as an employee,
Employee.
investigator, huh?
Yeah, you're the employee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, I appreciate it, man.
Should date it though.
Yeah, you want a date and time?
Yep, absolutely. And we had, opportunity to talk to a couple people now, and let me read through your statement again real quick to make sure I'm all up to date here. Alright, first off, did anybody contact you today and let you know that we were going to talk to you besides us?
Nope.
Did you talk to anybody else today? Did you talk to Chief or
Nope.
anyone else today?
Nope.
Alright. Basically, we're going over what happened over there with the accidental discharge, kind of circumstances around that.
Right.
And you know, there's also some stuff going on possibly we've been alerted to about some of the timesheets. Alright? So, if you know what I'm getting at, yeah, so we need to make sure that that is covered completely.
Right.
You know, again, under Garrity, we can't use this in criminal prosecution, you know, any information we gather. However, you know.
Don't worry about it. If you didn't do anything wrong yet, nothing to worry about.
There you go.
So.
There you go. But then again, this clears everything up, and you know, part of our job is just to do the investigation.
Right.
We have no horse in the race here. We don't care how it goes either way, but we just try to gather the information.
Right.
So hopefully you don't take anything personally that we talk about or anything else like that. So you've been a cop long enough that you understand.
It's 20 years.
How much?
Almost 20 years.
Going on 20?
Yep.
Where'd you start out your career?
Hebron, actually.
Really?
And then I went to Fairfield County.
Yeah.
And then I ended up going on Buckeye Lake.
No kidding. So why'd you go there from Fairfield?
Let's just say it was a mutual separation for the most part. I'd actually had trouble qualifying because I had real bad sleep apnea. And from the 50, I would always miss it by one for whatever reason because I was so drowsy.
Yeah.
So I went on light duty and then ended up going out on FMLA. Well, while I was on FMLA, they said, well, since you can't qualify, you can't work as a police officer in the state of Ohio. So they said, we'll give you the option of resigning or we're going to terminate you. And the sheriff came out to my house and with the deputy chief and said, you know, we'll pay the unemployment if you just resign. And I asked him, I said, what do you think, I'm stupid?
Right.
Said if I resign, I get nothing. But I ultimately didn't get anything anyway, so.
So you ended up back at Buckeye Lake just to keep your
I
connection?
knew Andy and Jimmy over there.
Okay.
I first went back to Hebron, but they said because they're CALEA, they can't hire somebody that's been terminated from another agency regardless if they worked there before or not.
Wow.
Because that's where I went first.
Yeah, well,
Makes sense.
So I had been making the money back then that they're making now, I probably would have never left.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah.
I know, believe me, I live there. All right, so tell me a little bit about what happened on the 10th.
Okay, you want me to go start to finish?
Start to finish.
Okay.
Do you need your statement to refresh?
No, actually I got it.
Okay.
I need to fresh it down as well. Let's see, on the 10th at about 8:46, was on patrol, was contacted by phone by the chief. He told me to come down M section. I'm like, okay, what's going on? He's like, just get down to M section. So I get down there. I'm still on the phone with him for a couple seconds, then he said supposedly somebody's been shot inside a trailer.
He said that while you were on the phone call?
Right.
Okay.
And then he turned around and said that the people had called him directly. So I just drive in M section and I see Officer Vermaten's truck sitting there in front of the trailer that they're at, and they're both just standing outside. So I I had already marked it that I was en route there on what, 4.
Okay, so you marked county.
Yeah, I marked county that I was en route on possible 52. And then when I got on scene, I asked for 99 traffic.
Okay.
So we could make entry.
Mhm.
So as we're standing by the front door, they're trying to figure out how to get in, if they're gonna have to kick it in or what they're gonna have to do. I said, well, I got a pry bar on the car, didn't want the pry bar, so they were able to get a key. So once they opened the door, Vermaten went in, well, let me back up a second. Jimmy asked me if I had a shotgun in my cruiser. And I told him no, because I don't have a shotgun rack or anything in my cruiser. He goes, do you have your rifle? I'm like, yeah, I've got my rifle. He goes, go get it and give me your sidearm.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. I've never parted with my gun and
Right.
never really planned to like
Sure,
that. But
yeah.
what are you gonna do? Tell your chief no, he can't use it?
Absolutely not.
So, Vermaten goes in first, goes to the right. I mean, we're all fairly close, going up like 3-person entry, but Vermaten goes to the right, Jimmy goes to the left, but he's kind of not completely in. He was just kind of right behind the door. And as I was coming in, I mean, I couldn't even see Jimmy as I was coming through the door. I heard bang! Which, I mean, normally your adrenaline would go up, but it didn't really seem to faze me. It was dark in there. I mean, the light was horrible. Because I had to give Vermaten my flashlight, and I'm just using the light at the end of my rifle, which didn't give much light. So, we continued to clear the house. Found out there was nobody inside. Didn't look like anybody had been inside. So, go back after the fact, and Jimmy starts trying to explain that he saw a shadow. He thought he saw a shadow getting up off the floor. So he went to draw on him, and came up underneath and hit the counter and discharged fire.
Okay. That Glock?
Yeah, my Glock.
Okay. So
Which was obviously, police 101, you don't search a house with your finger on the trigger.
right. So obviously, he had to have his finger on triggers, no hammer, nothing that you could have, nothing you could have done besides.
Yep, that's it.
So Jimmy said he thought somebody was getting off the ground.
Right.
Goes up, hits the something,
Right.
counter or something, gun goes off.
Right.
So once you heard the bang and everything, you guys kept searching? Did you ask
Yeah.
right then, like, hey, what the hell happened?
Well, I ended up shining my light over there, and he's like, well, I thought I saw a shadow.
Okay.
Well, I got in after that gunshot, because I wasn't about to stay outside.
So you knew right then, though, that he's the one to fire.
I didn't know.
I mean, after you went in, he said, hey, I thought I saw a shadow. So you assumed that was him firing off around, you know, right?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. I'll turn it off. I'll try. There we go. Okay.
Andy must have gotten notified, huh?
Andy's well versed on everything that goes on in the town with being, having family that owns a diner.
Yeah.
People like to go in and talk.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, Andy and I'll be talking soon.
Andy's a good guy.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Okay.
So you heard a bang, you walk there, go inside, hey, and Jimmy says, yeah, that was me, I saw a shadow. So you knew it was him that fired the shot right away, right? So you're not looking for somebody shooting at you.
Because I can't say definitively that where I thought the shot came from. But it sounded like it was on the left side of me.
Gotcha.
And Jimmy was the only one on the left side.
Okay. But you guys.
So he told me as soon as we cleared the house what had happened, and then he came up underneath and he thought he saw a shadow and
Gotcha.
ended up squeezing the trigger.
Okay.
So I started trying to look around for the round because I want to know where the round went. That's a round out of my gun.
Yeah.
And him and Vermaten said, well, must just went through the floor someplace. I said, there's got to be a hole.
Right.
There's got to be something. That bullet went someplace. And one of the two picked up the casing. I don't know which one because I didn't pick it up. And then I went back out to my cruiser to secure my gun. And by then, one of the Hebron units had showed up. They weren't aware of what Oliver showed up.
Right.
But he didn't know what happened.
Okay.
And
Were you told not to tell him what happened?
I was told not to tell Hebron what happened, yes.
Okay. What was the thinking on there, do you know? And who told you that to begin with?
Chief Anthony.
Okay. Why did he tell you that?
I don't know if he was embarrassed or just didn't want to get it out until it gets dealt with the way it's supposed to get dealt with.
Gotcha.
So I get my cruiser, I'm getting ready to leave, and him and Vermaeten get in the truck and then pull up next to me. And Jimmy leans out the window and he's like, "You don't tell anybody about this." He goes, "I'll handle calling the mayor."
Okay.
So and the funny part about it is the woman that claimed all this was going on, that has dementia, I was through her section not 5 minutes before that.
No.
And she was standing outside at the end of the road. And I waved her and she just looked at me, never flagged me down, never did anything. So
obviously some mental issues going on with the lady. Sounds like she's got some
Right.
dementia problems and stuff. Okay.
So later on, I mean, I was told I was going to have to do a statement on it, obviously, because I was there. Later on, I went on a call with Hebron, and then I get a call from Peggy Wells, the mayor, obviously, and she wanted to know why Jimmy was trying to call her 3 times. And I said, "Probably tell you about an incident that happened." I said, "But I'm on a call with Hebron right now, I can't talk." She goes, "Well, call me back when you're done." So I cleared the scene. I called Jimmy. I said, "Well, I don't know if you got a hold of Peggy or not." I said, "She just called me, so if you need to talk to her, you might want to just go ahead and give her a call because you can probably get her now." And he's like, "Well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to come to my house and you're going to put it on speakerphone so I can hear what she has to say." And he didn't want me to tell her that.
Oh,
was there.
so you call her back, but he was in the room.
And the first thing I said to Peggy was,
Gotcha.
"I'm at Jimmy's house. He's sitting right here."
But Jimmy wanted to hear from the mayor without the mayor
Right,
knowing.
because the
Jimmy-
mayor and I are close,
Gotcha.
and we talk a few times.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to throw her under the bus like that,
That's good.
because I didn't want her to, act like we have this big relationship and we're out to get him or whatever.
Right.
So I didn't want her to act, "Oh, you heard about Jimmy? What's Jimmy out doing?" I mean,
Right.
just,
Makes you
Try-
transparency.
yeah.
So you do that, she calls, and then at that point, does Jimmy say anything to her?
He's just explaining to her about what happened.
Okay.
She doesn't sound too happy, obviously.
Yeah.
I think I overheard the words that he wasn't supposed to be working.
Yeah.
I mean, I did come to his defense and say, well, he is the chief of police, technically he's on duty 24/7.
Right.
He lives in the town.
You're aware that he had, he had some problem with his
Right.
finger, and he was off work with his
Right.
finger.
Right.
Did you know how long he was going to be off, or when he was supposed to come back, or
I had
did
heard-
they ever say like, "Hey, we're going to be off for a while"?
Well, last week I heard he would be back Monday.
This Monday.
This previous Monday, yeah.
Okay. Which would have been what date?
So what's the 15th?
Yeah.
Today's 15th, so
Yeah.
he should have been back. Monday would have been the 12th.
Right.
Okay. Who'd you hear that from?
Let me think. I can't remember if I heard that from Andy or what. I really can't recollect who told me that he was coming back on Monday.
How
It
Andy,
may even been Peggy that told me.
how's Andy know all this? Andy seems to know a lot.
Andy he's able to find out a lot.
He sure is.
And some people put stuff all over Facebook, obviously.
Really?
Which I'm not a Facebook person, I don't do it.
Yeah. Okay. So you called dispatch advising you were coming, they gave you 99 traffic, you cleared the scene. Was the county en route that time?
No.
They were never en
No.
route on
No, because they had asked me if I needed, or Hebron marked up and asked if I needed a 10.
Okay.
And I said no. I said, we've already got 2 my A units there. And when I got there, found out Vermaeten was there. I figured he was going to be with him anyway. So, there's such a thing that you can have too many guns going into one place, and
Absolutely.
especially a trailer.
absolutely.
So I think the three of us could have handled it just fine.
So you didn't ask for a 10, but
No.
he
He
showed up anyway?
yeah.
Okay,
But that was after the fact.
right, okay. All right, so going back then to the time cards. It's come to our attention that there's some time cards that have been filled out, maybe some hours put on there that shouldn't be on there, auxiliary-wise. What do you know about that?
I haven't seen any logs for any auxiliaries.
Okay,
And I have a guy that comes and rides with me all the time, and I told him, the other day, I said, you need to start get a log sheet together, start making a copy and put it in the reserve book so you can prove that you're coming out here and working.
Right.
Because, I mean, we're not calling Jimmy all the time and saying, hey, Jackson's out here working.
right,
So he has no idea. And we've only got a couple that really even put in any time.
okay. Who usually puts in time out there?
James Jackson and Tedra Bear,
Okay,
but she rarely comes out.
all right. Anybody else ever come out?
No.
No? When's the last time you saw some of the guys out there? Read off a couple names off of there.
Let me get that list, the roster here. Oh, there it is. Alright, as far as A units go, you said James Jackson comes
Right.
out. Is he usually pretty good about his 16 hours a month?
Oh, yeah.
He's okay. Ben Justice.
He rarely comes out because he's also got a commission as a police officer with the VA.
Okay, alright. Tyler Thompson.
He comes out quite a bit, but he just got a job at Hebron.
Okay, he's the
He's
one
a
that
Hebron
got
guy.
full
Yep.
timers. Okay, we heard about him. Dory Vermillion.
Seen her work once in the last year and a half.
Okay.
Wow,
I think she covered one shift.
in a year and a half.
in a year and a half.
And she's not coming out doing her
No.
16, even when you're not there, you don't think?
No.
Alright. James Bartow. Is that,
Not really anymore. I mean, his medical issues and everything, he doesn't come out.
I think somebody said something about that. Okay. He has some medical issues, so he hasn't been coming out. When's the last time you remember he was out?
maybe a month, 2 months ago,
Okay.
somewhere around that line.
And then Tedra Bear.
I'm not 100% sure when she always comes out because she doesn't come out and ride with me.
Okay, but she does come out, or?
She does come out.
Does come out.
Yes.
Okay. Did you get those that?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
Is there any other auxiliary units not on here that you can think of, or is that everybody? Okay.
Now, Steve, I was told by a couple people I've talked to already that you're a trustworthy guy. I had nothing bad to say about you, which is rare. Quite honestly, it's rare that we get somebody that doesn't have anything bad to say. But we also have those people saying maybe some not so stellar things about a couple of the other guys.
Right. Which I hear on a daily basis.
Yeah. But what I was told over everything is that you're a truthful guy.
Right.
So I have no reason not to believe that. I just want to make sure that I'm covering all my bases right here, because what I don't want to see is come back and, because we're going to get every piece of paper from the last year of anybody who did anything. So, you know, if there's something that doesn't add up there, I don't want to see anybody get hemmed up on it. So if you know somebody that is definitely not putting their hours in, but is definitely getting credit for hours, I'd like to know.
Well, I think there's always been discrepancies, not even just the auxiliaries. It's, you know, some of the other paid. I mean, I've had my timesheet got altered before after I signed it.
Right.
They changed all these hours, and then it put down that I worked 2 to 10 on a day when I didn't.
Okay.
And my shift doesn't start at 2.
Who altered that?
Jimmy put it on there. It wasn't even in my handwriting on the timesheet.
Okay. Did Jimmy tell you why you changed it?
No.
You just got,
I said I didn't work 2 to 10. He's like, oh, well, we'll make it up another time.
okay.
Well, me being worried about getting in trouble, I let everybody in the office know about it. The Mary, which was the one that cuts the paychecks, Michelle's one of the office staff, and Valerie let them know that I didn't work that. And I had them pull the copy of my timesheet, and I said, that's not my writing.
Okay. How long ago was that?
It was 6 months ago.
6 months. Do you still have a copy of it?
I'm sure there's still one on file.
Okay. Alright, so, about
What
6 months
month or what
ago.
pay period or anything?
Do I know what pay period?
Yeah, what month?
Not
Anything close?
exactly.
Alright.
It's been a while since I've seen it, so.
Summertime or wintertime?
Oh, it had to been summer.
Alright.
Did you ever make up the time?
I can't remember if they actually took it off there, because I even asked Peggy for advice before she even got elected. And I told her, and she's like, well, I would turn around and send an email to Jimmy, and then I would turn around and send one to the mayor and send one to the girl in the office.
And you did that?
And I did not do that. And I
Okay.
did not do that for a reason.
And what reason was that?
Because Jimmy said we will deal with it on a later date.
Okay.
And I said all 3 people I would have been, that I would have been emailing are like this.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't think it would have gone anywhere other than the fact of why are you calling them? And
Causing trouble.
when I said it was taken care of.
Okay. Did Jimmy offer any excuse why he put that on there?
I can't recollect. I mean, like I said, it's been a while ago. I just know it was written down when I was there at 2, and
Right.
I don't start at 2. I mean, I'm usually there 3 or 4 hours before my shift even starts, but my shifts never started at 2.
So, what time did you think you got? Did you work that day?
I can't even remember if I worked that day.
What day, or what time do you usually get to work?
Our schedules have changed since then.
Back then, what time?
That's what I'm trying to think. I want to say that it was like 4 to midnight.
So, were you working the same amount of hours as the timesheet indicated?
I can't even remember.
Did you get credit for the 4 to midnight that night too?
No, I wouldn't have got, I can't remember. All I remember seeing is the end time started as 2 p.m. I don't know what the out time was,
Okay.
but one of the things that just caught my eye was that wasn't my writing.
Okay.
And I just had, not this past pay period, but the pay period before, my whole timesheet was changed again. Everything scratched out. I was promised bereavement, and I was promised to get paid for the holiday because we don't work holidays.
Mhm.
So we've gotten, if you're scheduled that day, you just get your regular straight time.
Okay.
So they didn't, I ended up working not working a holiday because Jimmy told me I could go ahead and take my bereavement. It was something like take Saturday, Sunday as bereavement, because my mom just died a few weeks back.
Sorry.
And then Monday's going to be a holiday. And he said I was going to get paid for the holiday.
Okay.
And he even marked holiday down on my thing.
Okay.
Well, there were several things that were changed as far as, overall hours. Because they mess around with comp bank and everything. They've never had comp bank straightened out, as far as I'm concerned, but there's somebody else handling it now.
Gotcha. So you didn't come to work on the holiday,
Yeah.
but you got paid?
No, I didn't get paid, and I raised hell about it
Gotcha.
because I was told by Jimmy that I was gonna get paid because we always have been.
Gotcha.
And they were like, well, we've got a new administration now and we're gonna be going by the book, so we're not paying you.
Okay. Before the new administration got in there, is there any other instances where you know somebody got credit for working that did not work?
Hour-wise,
Yeah, even like,
see, that's the thing,
Even if it's-
like with Jimmy, it'd be hard to explain because
Yeah.
the old mayor let him work from home. So,
well, yeah, I mean, even, say not Jimmy, anybody else, that Jimmy said, you know what, there's an auxiliary here that didn't get their 16 hours in, but I'm gonna put 8 hours down so they get their 16 hours in.
I've never seen
anything
anybody
like
do that.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Like I said, I personally haven't seen it.
Have you heard of it
And
being done?
No, but I'm assuming that's probably what's happening because these people aren't being made to come out and work.
Yeah.
And you've got to have 16 through the state as well as 16 through our office. I mean, it's across the board.
Have you seen, there's no way, does it seem realistic that these guys are working 16 hours a month?
Besides Tedra and Jackson,
No. Okay.
now I was told before, because I question why the auxiliaries never come out. I'm kind of a straightforward kind of guy. And I think we were at the range or something, and Jimmy was telling me that since one of our auxiliaries, it's the, what the hell's his name? I don't even know him that well. It's, is he even on here? Dorian James, Bart, Tedra. Oh, he's not even on this one. When did you guys get this copy?
Today,
That's not the newest one that they did up though.
probably not.
But anyway, this guy worked for like VCI and worked for the airport. So he's supposed to be like our crime scene guy. So he's never made to come in and put in hours. And like the guy there's an auxiliary we had on there, Jason Schilling, which just recently retired. He never came out and put his hours in. But Jimmy told me when I think we were at the range, that it's worth it for him because the guy that just retired does our taser training and our radar training. And the other guy's our crime scene guy. So it's worth it to him for them to only have to work to do our training or to do, if they want to call that guy out for a crime scene.
Can you try to remember his name?
That's what I don't know him that well.
Do you know anybody that would know him if you called Andy? Maybe he knows him.
Andy doesn't know him.
Well, he's the
One
guy
guy
that
doesn't
over
really-
there.
Yep, Andy doesn't know him because nobody ever sees him.
Right.
Oh, well, there you go.
Maybe that's why he's not on the roster anywhere either, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we need to know about, man? I mean, we need to just kind of get down the bottom of everything and make sure everything's on the up and up. And like I said, we got to gather all these facts and try to figure out, if everything's good to go, then great. That's awesome. If it's not, then, that's something the mayor has to deal with.
Right.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head even to ask you now, because I think we got pretty much everything covered.
I mean, I've heard rumors just of like the timesheet issues from like Andy,
Yeah,
back when he used to work there.
yeah. And we're gonna talk to Andy. It's a next phone call.
And everybody always wondered, how he's getting these hours when nobody sees it. When Jimmy's getting these hours and nobody sees it.
Right.
But the old mayor let him work from home, but never had to prove it. Never
Right.
had to prove that he actually was working.
Well, yeah, that's under the old mayor. I guess the new mayor.
That's not gonna happen with this one.
Seems like she sees things differently, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I like about her.
That's
Is if she sees something wrong, she says and does something about it, which is the way I am.
We call it straight, we're the same way.
Yep.
We call it straight, and if it's wrong, it's wrong.
Right.
I don't care if you're a cop or if you're a fireman or you're a citizen over here. You live in a trailer park. It doesn't matter to us. Right's right, wrong's wrong, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find out if you're doing it right. Great. This will back everything up. This investigation will just solidify your righteousness. But if not, it's going to find out. We're going to find out what's going to. What's happening, and that'll be exposed too. So
Yeah,
that's just our job to do.
Jimmy asked the other day, I was working a council meeting, and he had addressed the council and everything with his attorney, and then went to walk out, and he looks at me, kind of mean mugs me, and says, "We're gonna talk." So I go to walk out. I ended up getting a call. I told Jimmy, I got a call. He's like, "No, come into the office first." And Vermain in the hospital, he's sitting there. He goes, "I don't know what's going on." He goes, "I don't know who's out here talking stuff about me and about the department." He goes, "But if I find out, I'm gonna write you up."
Was that before
And
this?
he was looking at me.
Was that before this
No,
incident happened?
that was after.
After.
So it was just on Mondays.
Yeah.
Monday community.
That's this Monday.
Yeah. So he says that he's not gonna tolerate it, and that if anybody talks about him or anything, he's gonna write them up, but this could be considered a verbal, basically like a verbal write-up, a verbal reprimand. And he was looking at me the entire time for the most part when he was saying, I said, "I know you think I'm the one out here telling everybody about stuff." I said, "But I'm not." I said, "There's a lot of people out here talking." He goes, "Well, who?" I said, "Don't worry about it." He goes, "Who is it?" I said, "I'm not gonna tell you." "Well, I wanna know who it is." "I'm not gonna tell you." I said, "You wanna fire me? You wanna write me up? Go ahead. I'm not telling you."
So it sounds like you see some things that could be changed out there.
There's a lot of things that need to be changed.
Anything else brought up or anything else we need to know about?
No,
Okay.
I haven't talked to Jimmy since Monday, because I had to call him about a call I was on later that night, but
Okay.
we don't normally,
Well, you
we don't
understand,
talk.
you're not talking to him about this either?
Right,
So if he asks you,
Right.
you just tell him that we told you you're not allowed to.
right.
You know, you're not being insubordinate at that point to him because he's not even allowed to ask you.
Well, it was brought up about why I told Peggy that Jimmy had told me not to tell Hebron. And I said, because I ended up telling him, I think it was actually later in the night, I ended up telling him, well, Peggy was wanting to get a statement from the Hebron officer. Said, but he got there after the fact. I said, but you told me not to say anything to her, or say anything to Hebron or anything. And I said, well, she asked me, I told her. He goes, oh, you're really going to do a brother in blue like that? Basically throwing me under the bus.
So you did
Everything.
everything.
And I said, Jimmy, I told you before, I'm not going to ever lie to you. You may not like what I have to say, you may not like what's coming out of my mouth, but I'm never going to lie to you. So,
So he's a little torqued off that you're talking to the mayor.
yeah. He told me he seemed to think there was some secret squirrel meeting going on.
Seems to be some rift between the mayor and Jimmy, if I'm reading things right.
I'd
Yeah,
say
it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like me a little bit of something.
little bit. And I try and stay out of it, but Peggy calls me all the time, or she'll stop and talk to me, and then I get the call from either Jimmy or well, it's usually Jimmy that calls me, but I'll either see him drive by or Romaine drive by, and I'll get a call from Jimmy. What did the mayor want?
So Romaine and Jimmy are pretty tight.
They're best friends.
Yeah, I gathered that talking to him.
So they tell each other, I mean, I've got both of them trying to follow me, but they're,
Not too stealthy?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to stay out of the middle of it. You got the mayor telling you to do something, you got chief telling you to do something different.
Absolutely. Put you
And
in a bad spot.
Well, I tried to explain to Peggy, because she said, she could write him up for insubordination. If she tells him to do something, he doesn't do it. And
Right.
I told her, well, Peggy, on the flip side of that is if he tells me to do something and I don't do it and I do what you say, he can write me up for insubordination.
Right.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're in a tough spot. No doubt
Yeah.
about that. None whatsoever.
so to know anything and be in that middle spot is
Yeah, it's a tough place.
not real.
No, I wouldn't want to be there.
Now, especially when you get your phone on and you're standing there and all of a sudden it rings and it says Mayor Peggy Wells.
Yeah.
Especially if you're around Jimmy or something. Because he's always been perturbed. He's like, why is she always asking you questions and not me?
Maybe she just wants a different perspective. I don't know. First time I ever met her.
Yeah.
I've known Jimmy for a long time. First time I met her, so.
I mean, I'm not trying to throw Jimmy under the bus or anything.
No.
I'm not gonna,
Hey, this is all about honesty.
Yep.
I'm putting down exactly what happened from my point of view.
So let me go back to the accidental discharge incident here. You were aware that he had his finger amputated, correct? I mean, everyone seemed to have known that. When he arrived on scene, did he order you to give you him your weapon?
He had ordered me to, but he told me to give.
He was
for me
kind
to
of
give
having a
him.
directive for
Right.
him. Okay.
Told me to go get my rifle, and then he wanted my gun.
At that time, did you know of his status of working as far as, I just had my finger cut off, like I can go back to work?
No, I had heard he was coming back to work,
Okay.
but,
But you heard it was that Monday.
right.
You heard
The
it was Monday.
following Monday.
Right, that he was already cleared to come back, and, I never questioned giving him my gun. Hindsight, because at the sheriff's department, you get put on light duty, they take your badge, your ID, and your gun.
We don't have light duty here.
So you can't turn around and act as an officer
Right.
and take any action for anything.
Right.
Right. Which that makes a lot of
Good liability.
sense. Yeah.
So, And he didn't have his gun on, but Vermaiden had his backup on him. And of course, when the chief tells you, give him your gun.
Absolutely, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You don't think twice.
Even though it's my personal gun, it's not a departmental issue gun.
Did Vermaiden look for the weapon or look for the bullet at all?
A short time.
Okay. Couldn't find it.
Nobody's-
All right, nobody's.
And I kind of made that an issue too, because I'd let Peggy know about that. And
Yeah.
I said, I'm just not comfortable that a round was shot and my round to my gun is sitting in somebody's trailer and it's unaccounted for.
Let me ask you this: do you guys typically not do a report on something like that, like an official report?
Yeah, we do. Well, I mean, we'll do a call record.
Right.
Now, considering what happened,
Right.
that would be a full-blown report.
Any other occasions that you don't do reports on something like that?
I mean, if we would just go there and she thought that that's what happened,
Right.
you know, and we ended up going and checking, nothing was wrong, figured there was something, you know, dementia-wise, that maybe she's harming herself, then we take her to the hospital or something.
Right.
But other than that, no,
But
we
then-
would do a call record log and just give a brief description of
Do you know
why
why
we were
there's
there.
not any call record logs at all, or no report done?
Jimmy said he was gonna take care, because I honestly, I looked at Jimmy, I said, you're doing a report on this,
Yeah.
not me.
And so he said he was gonna do the report?
Yep.
So no report was done? None? So I don't know what you got a bullet casing over there, I don't know how you guys link your evidence
I
back.
don't even know what they did with the bullet casing, because like I said, I don't even know who picked it up, and that bothers me too.
Yeah, it sounds like Jeff picked it up, but,
Do they still have it, you
Yeah.
know? Good.
um,
The homeowner's son didn't even seem to really care about what happened,
yeah.
apparently him. and
How do you
his
guys
friends.
link your evidence to, how do you link your evidence to anything? Do you have to have a report number to link your evidence?
Yep.
So the evidence report does it go with the report itself? The evidence report number, or is that the same as the report number?
The same as the report.
So if you don't have a report, how do you have an evidence number?
Because you still have a call record. I mean, your call record.
I don't have
number-
anything.
Our call record number is our report number as well.
Gotcha.
So whatever evidence we would get would be submitted under that.
So
same
if you don't
number.
have a call record number or a report number, how do you log in evidence without that?
You're not supposed to.
Okay. All right. Because this report number says 181055 on here, on yours.
18. Oh. Yeah, because that's what, we have a book that's got the numbers.
Okay?
It's like a log sheet of the last calls taken.
Yeah.
And I did that up because that was supposed to be the next call record that they said that they were going to go to the office and take care of doing.
Okay.
So I just used that number and put it on my statement.
Okay.
That same case number?
Yeah.
No.
156.
156. No, they got 156
156.
on theirs.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's 155. And that's a screwy way of keeping track of records anyway.
Yeah, sure is. You guys need to get a computer system to do that.
And you can't even, none of us even know how to go in and look people up for stuff.
Really?
I mean, with our new computer system, if we want to pull up an old report log or a call record log, none of us can get in and do it.
Yeah, because I talked to Hansy for just 5 minutes there. He said, I don't have a call record, report, anything.
Who was he putting that
I said
on?
he was supposed to fax or something.
Was he-
He was gonna
Was he
fax
saying that
something.
I was supposed to do that?
No,
No,
there was
he
none done.
just-
There was
yeah.
just nothing done. And I was like, well, because the way we do things here is if we have an incident like that, we have to do a report.
Right.
So that way you can link things back together.
Right.
And you're taking statements have to go somewhere. So
Right.
they go with report, in the case file, so you have to have it. So that's why I was asking if this is common practice to not do a report on a situation like that.
No, I mean, we're supposed to do at least a call record log on every call we go to.
Okay. And that call record log, is that a short report basically, or is that something on just your log, on just your run?
It's a short report. It just basically gives the breakdown of time, date, address,
Just the who, what, when,
who was
where?
there, yep. And then just a real brief description, not a full narrative of what happened.
Do you also have a run log for these? Do you guys do run logs anymore, like
road log?
the old school road logs? Do you still do those?
Yeah, I still do a road log.
So do you have a road log of this day then, obviously, right? Okay. And those
And like I said,
those
Sheriff's
are-
Department has the recording too, I'm sure.
right, and those are all saved too, your road logs.
Yeah.
And put in with the monthly reports, and then put in a big envelope and, right? Okay. Gotcha. I'm learning a lot how you guys do business out there.
Yeah, a little different.
A little different.
Yeah, and I always try and compare it to the Sheriff's Department. I always get told this isn't the Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but it's the right way to
whatever,
do things.
whatever.
That's right, there is a right way to do things sometimes. There's a different way of doing things, but
Different
there's also
way.
a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things. And,
You know, just like,
you know,
how many of your guys have access to your evidence room?
two. The evidence tech and the backup. We've got 23 guys.
You know who had evidence or access to all of our evidence?
Probably.
Anybody that worked.
Right.
And I've tried to explain to them over and over again, you can't do that. They need to go in a temporary locker, locked up,
Right.
and then whoever's in charge of the property room the next day takes it out of there and reclassifies it into the property room.
Yep. Yep, it's a good way to get hemmed up really, really fast.
Well, I said that. I said the Attorney General wanted to come in here and do an audit.
Yeah. Sounds like, sounds like you guys need to do some things to kind of get back in the 21st century a little bit when it comes to that stuff, You got to,
Yeah.
because the state unfortunately will come in and really rail you, if you're not doing everything right.
Well, and that's what I tell everybody. I said, the good old boy way of doing things is over.
That's over
You
with.
can't do
Yeah,
that nowadays.
absolutely.
Nope, not with all these cameras.
Nope.
And everything's getting recorded.
Okay. I guess the only other thing is, did Jimmy ever say anything else about not talking to anybody or there'll be repercussions for it?
Just when he talked to the three of us, or the Vermaeten, Hollis and I, just that we would be written out.
If you
If he
talk,
found out for sure and had proof that one of us is the one that was out saying something, then he was gonna write us up.
saying something about this particular incident?
No, about
Just before.
people at the department, whether it's complaining about Jimmy or
Gotcha.
Vermaeten. He says if he hears any of that.
I got you. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got nothing else, man. I think that's good. I appreciate it. And, once you leave here, if you think of something, give me a call back. I think that there's definitely some changes that, you guys may need to start thinking about incorporating over there to help yourselves out a little bit. And, we'll be in touch.
I've had a lot of ideas, but they just,
Yeah. Well, they'll fall
people are afraid of change.
They are. We have people here that don't want to change, sometimes, but luckily we have administration that, is open to change a lot of times, so that's always good.
Did you smell alcohol on either Jimmy or Vermaeten when the night of the incident? No alcohol?
Mhm.
Okay.
Cool.
That's our chief.
I don't know. I don't think either of those two drink.
Yeah, that's what I was told they don't drink at all, but,
For that too.
yeah. All right. If you think of anything, like I said, man, give me a call back and we'll muddle through all this stuff and, try not to have to interview you anymore so you can go about your day and not
It's all right.
have a crappy time. In the meantime, don't discuss this with anybody. Obviously, Andy's curious and he's calling you now, and he probably wants to
Andy
know
always calls
what's
me.
going on. But let him know you can't tell him that you've been ordered not to tell. All right, and in that way, because I'm going to talk to Andy too.
Okay.
And if there's information Andy has, I want it. And it sounds like from the people I've talked to and the people that used to work for Buckeye Lake that don't work there anymore, that I've talked to, said that he is the man to talk to about some of this stuff.
That is.
So I want to get with him and get him in here as well and get all the information he has. So if you wouldn't mind not calling Andy for a few minutes, because I'm going to give him a call.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay? Any questions for us?
Yeah, just thinking, making sure I didn't leave anything out of anything.
That looks like it's pretty
Any
good.
unanswered questions or anything.
No, looks like a good statement.
Well, no, actually, it looks like a bad statement.
Other
But
than
that's all my typo errors.
Oh, that's all right.
we all have those. Okay.
Oh,
Man, I go off here. Done. 44 minutes. Like normal.
Before 4 o'clock. Oh, right.
Right at
4
4.
o'clock.
Oh, good, I'll be able to start listening to the game.
Yeah, there you go.
Get your insurance stuff figured out, or?
Yeah, kinda. Not overly happy with what they gave me for my truck. I was going home from work the other night and got hit head on.
God, that's what I heard. What the hell? That sucks.
Girl didn't swerve, didn't hit the brakes, didn't do anything.
Jeez.
I hope you get that situated.
Well, they gave me $3 grand more than I paid for the truck.
Well, that's not bad.
But it's still not enough to replace it.
Right.
Not even close, not even something with, because it was a 2010 Ram 1500
Oh.
crew cab with 20 wrench rims and everything on it. And
Wow.
yeah, I can't find it. You can't even find the 2005 for $9 grand.
No, I hear you. If you get back to the station and you start getting some flack or anything, you know, let somebody know. Okay?
I don't know if I will.
Let's hope not.
Now, hopefully I don't get the question of, so what did you tell them?
You simply tell them.
That's an easy one. Yeah, that's an easy one to take care of.
Yep.
All right. Hey,
All right, buddy.
thanks again, man.
No
We
problem.
appreciate it. Be
No
safe
problem.
out there,
Yep,
okay?
you too.
Are you parked out back over here on the side of the building?
I am on the side, yes.
We'll let you